sighing this morning because we had to drag this out of the house last night. But this little freezer has served us well. We've had it for about 13 years, or maybe a little bit longer. We purchased this around the time that we moved into our property. And we have lost several $100s worth of meats and vegetables and fruit. Literally, my husband was taking off bags of ruined food to the dump this morning. Are we going to replace this deep freeze? Well, we discussed it last night, and maybe God just doesn't want us to have all the excess food that we have here on the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. So we're not going to replace this unit, but we are going to use the closet for canning jars. And that will be a good space for all the empty canning jars. We've got it propped up to air out. Oh, y'all, it was awful last night. The smell, the stench, it was just awful. But we got it done. We took care of business, and now we're going to go into the house and take care of some more business. Well, hey, y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I've got on a brand new apron from the Amish community. It is just absolutely lovely what they have done with this. And I'm going to come in closer so that you can see that they used a peacock print for the apron itself. It is absolutely beautifully made. I may turn these corners in, and I may move this over just a bit to make it fit my body a little better, but I love the big pocket on the front. And that is hand painted, y'all. That is a hand painted pocket. Isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely love going down to the Amish community, and I am excited to get into today's program for y'all. We could cry over spilt milk and say, you know, woe is me, I've lost all that meat and food and everything. But y'all, we have plenty of food in the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch pantry. We have 2 more freezers. We're going to actually try to somehow, some way, not put anything else in those freezers the rest of this year, except for maybe meat purchases, because we need to use up what we have on hand. Plus, we have a huge garden coming in. So today, you're going to see me chopping vegetables again and just relax and enjoy whatever I have to offer you today. It's Monday. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and dads out there. And for those of us that are missing our dads because they're no longer with us, I truly understand that. My dad's been gone for many years, and it is heartbreaking when I think about not having my dad around. But he was such a instrumental person in my life. He taught me so much through his kind gestures over the years and his quiet demeanor that just really resonated with me. And he was the kind of man that was kind of very held back with sharing things, what hurts and things like that. He did not do that, but he was also a storyteller. He liked to tell tall tales, and he was musically inclined, although he never played his guitar around us. I do have a picture of him when he was younger with his guitar, and he was just a gentleman to everybody, and he was a friend to everybody. This is my improvised drying rack for my garlic, and I've got more garlic that I need to get out there and harvest. This is hardneck garlic that we bought from the Amish last year, and we planted some of the cloves and some of the seeds, and we got some really nice garlic heads. They were starting to die back, so I decided to pull them, clean them up, and have them for our pantry in a short while after they harden off or dry off. Oh, they smell so good. So I thought I only had 7. I found another one on the floor after I took my picture that I shared with our channel members. I actually had 8 heads of garlic that I've got drying here. I still have to do something with the garlic scapes that I pulled. I have fresh squash from the Amish that I need to slice up and do something with. I've got green beans and cucumbers. So we have, I think, 2, maybe 3 plants of cucumbers that actually came up. And I'm kind of glad that that's all that we have, because we are getting bukus of cucumbers and they're not even trellising yet. So these are going to be eaten this week. Bell peppers, fresh off of our vine, and y'all, I've already been cooking with these. I love them fresh, raw. I like them dehydrated. I may be dehydrating some this year. I had planned on putting some in the freezer, but because we have a freezer down, I may not be able to get any in the freezer this year. Not to worry though, we have plenty in our freezer. And our green beans. These are purple pod Louisiana green beans. They will turn green when you cook them. They are the most delicious green bean I have ever eaten, folks. And if you can get your hands on these seeds, they are worth purchasing. My aunt grew these down in Mississippi, and for years I couldn't find the seed. So I'm super, super excited. I found the seed, found the green beans, and I have a few of them in here that got away from me, and I'll get the beans out of them and use them as shellies. So I have probably about 2 quarts of green beans, or 4 pints of green beans. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator, wait a couple of days, and see what I have harvested to get a full canner full of green beans. Look at the beautiful color inside that green bean. Just perfect. So no salt in this, just cold water and into the fridge until I'm ready to can. Then I'll strain off that water, add my other green beans. We'll get them jarred up and get them onto the pantry shelf. Did y'all know that we have black bears just south of us in northern Mississippi? They are migrating apparently south for some reason. And that is worrisome to me, because we normally don't have black bears in the area. So y'all just be praying about that situation, because bears need their own habitat to be safe in. And we know that East Tennessee is having a lot of problems with the black bears going into tourist attractions and tourist sites, and tourists feeding the black bears. I ran outside and grabbed some of my homegrown mint. I've got double mint and I got peppermint. And I've got my half-gallon water jug. I decided I was going to do some cucumber and mint water up. That's very hydrating for you. I'm going to add in some Himalayan salt, because it's got all kinds of minerals and stuff in it. So I'm going to put in here a tablespoon of that. It's going to turn my water pink. And we're going to let that dissolve. And it's probably going to take about 24 hours for that to dissolve, and then it will turn clear. It'll leach out all those minerals and good things into the water. And you can add lemon or lime to this. You can add berries to this. Matter of fact, I have some strawberries. Let me grab those. I had some leftover strawberries in the fridge, and I didn't want them to go bad. And this is a great way to use up the fruit before it goes bad. And we're going to leave this sit out on the counter for a little while so it'll do a little fermentation. And then we'll refrigerate this. I'm going to add some more water to the top of the jar. Doesn't that look refreshing, y'all? No sugar added. Doesn't need any sugar. And this will be a refreshing drink. And I can take some of this off, add a little bit of water to it if I need to thin out that salt. But this is going to be so refreshing. Hydrating in the summer months. It's very, very good. Let me bring it up close so you can see all that good stuff in there. So I peeled these because my husband doesn't care for the peeling. I prefer the peeling on them, but he's got to eat them too, so we're just going to take the peeling off. Get these sliced up. We'll be eating on these this week, and I'm sure we'll have more coming in. And I'm going to have to get creative with my cucumbers, so y'all be looking out for that, because they are coming in heavy, and I did not plan to make pickles this year. So we're going to, again, we're going to put a little bit of salt in that water. And since I have the pink Himalayan salt here, I'm going to put about a teaspoon in there. And that just kind of helps keep those cucumbers fresh and hydrated, and it adds the salty flavor that we like. So let me get that started. Move this up where I can reach it. Did I mention that my garlic is free this year? Because we purchased garlic last year. It had seed on them. And so I took the seeds and I planted the seeds. I'm going to show you the seeds here in a moment. But this is going to go into the refrigerator. We'll be eating on that for at least, I'd say, 3 to 5 days. So fresh cucumbers going into the fridge. So this is hardneck garlic seeds. And when I plant them, the little pointy end will be planted up. But I've got them in a paper bag that I've marked. And let me just tighten this up again. And so I can hang it up. And I can come into my kitchen every day, give it a good shake, make sure that they're moving around and everything. And I've labeled the front of the bag, so I know exactly what I've got in there. I'm doing the same with my basil, my catnip, and my hyssop. Now they started to flower, so these two started to flower, the basil and the hyssop. No, the catnip and the hyssop started to flower, so I cut the flowers off so that they will bush out and continue to grow. And then I just topped my basil, so I've got the little tops of the basil in here. Wash them, dry them good, and then put them in the bag and hang them up where you can see them so that they can air dry. A cheap way, or a frugal way, to dry your herbs without spending a lot of money. We're going to have an omelet and some bacon, kind of a breakfast thing for supper. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up my bell pepper. And I saved my seeds because these are from the Amish. I know that the seeds are organic. So I saved my seeds. That way, if I decide to plant bell pepper, I have the seed to do that. And I just let them dry right there on that center core. So I even use the ring at the top of the bell pepper. And I'll just have this in the refrigerator for a day or two. I wouldn't leave it in there much longer than that because I'm going to be adding onions to this. And I've got some tomatoes that I need to use up, so we're going to put the tomatoes in a bowl. So I've got my bowl here. I've got an onion from the Amish. This goes into my compost pile, or I could put it in my freezer with my vegetable stock bag. The skin and all can go into a vegetable stock because you're going to strain it off after a while. So I'm going to put that aside. I always cut towards the root because that's where all that stuff that bothers your eyes, makes your eyes water, is at. And this onion's not that strong, so that's a good thing. Occasionally I get one that's really strong. So it's nothing like a little bit of vegetable prep for your week. Let me grab my tomato. Looky there, y'all. Yum, yum. All prepped and ready for me to use. I think the squash is going to go into the dehydrator. So we're going to get a bowl for that, and I'm going to finish that up off camera, get it loaded into the dehydrator. Well, it's time to get the dehydrator loaded. It's 145 degrees Fahrenheit, 63 degrees Celsius for about 24 hours. And in case you're wondering what this was sitting on my counter, it is strawberry pie filling that I bought at the Amish. Our church youth group is going on a mission trip, and they're doing a pie and cake sale to raise the funds for that. And so I thought I would donate 2 strawberry pies for that. It's time for me to get the meat out and get it thawing. Some bacon to go with supper. This is Frugal Living Challenge 25, hosted by me, the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. It is an open collaboration through the month of December. If you're a content creator, I invite you to come along and join in this collaboration. Hey friends, thank you so much for watching my channel. Thank you for the many comments, the likes, the friendships, and for sharing this content out. Take a moment and watch all of the advertisements because that is how I get monetized and get paid. I appreciate each and every one of you for your time and your patience. And y'all, I have this special content over here I think you might like.